selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup, live on Sporty Stuff TV. A warm welcome to our host, Kelly Scott.
64 of the world's best pool players have done this very walk. 7 weeks of nail-biting drama, 42 live shows, 62 matches, and 613 frames of pure black ball pool. And it all comes down to this. 2 players, 1 table to decide the winner of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. Let's see how our finalists got here.
Say that there's probably more pressure on Gareth being the big favourite. That's a great shot.
This looks good. It's very good. On the board.
Foul.
Left the one up the rail second to last, but I think he went the right way. He's just not. It's a little stunned off the side cushion. There we go. It's perfect.
It's a low percentage shot, and there's no guarantee where the other red's going to go for his first shot.
You get further and further out of position, but he's got back into it. This is going to be a very good clearance.
Very romantic. Nothing's quite straightforward at the moment for him.
Wow, well.
Played that well.
Yeah,
Played that really well.
Definitely like the bottom corner better than playing for that gap. So there's a big shot. And what a shot.
Beautiful from Gareth Hibbott.
Oh, really straight chewing now.
Needs some perfect cue ball control as well, and he has got it. That is wonderful. Oh, these reds are like a wall.
And he's on this black. For this black to get into tonight's quarter-final, and there you see it. How well has he played that damn fairway?
Delicate one now, though.
Needs a good break, though. He got a ball. He has. And just look at these reds.
That would be a big error from Gareth Hibbott because he was huge favourite in this frame.
9-ball re-rack.
It is, and there is a re-rack. But how tough this pot to the right centre. What a great pot. You know, I said at the start of this break-off, I didn't think it was an advantage.
And he's played that yellow to perfection. Is crucial.
What
to the plant, and he's made it.
That is a great double in. This is a delicate little shot. Another really controlled one.
Yeah, he's going right after that bottom area. Just trying to dislodge everything and develop it. Straight into that yellow and leave that red on. Nicely played.
They are far from easy. I think he's trying to develop something here. What a shot this is. Is he on a ball?
Follow the red in. Oh, he's gone for the other yellow. What a shot.
Trying to get back down in this right-hand corner. What a shot that is from Gareth Hibbott.
I think he'll take that in a New York minute. He reckons he's been playing for about 40 years. Give given that. I think Ross Fernie has to be pretty happy.
Total snooker.
He does elect to take the cue ball into the black. Beautifully played.
10 seconds.
And Gareth Hibbott wins the last 2 frames to run home a 7-5 winner. This simple black will see the 39-year-old into tonight's final.
Come out absolutely lovely. Just overreaching a little bit. And Mark Boyle has had another reprieve.
Superb shot. 6 frames to 1. And that is the definition of ugly. And this black to seal New Love's fate and move Mark Boyle into the last 16. And down it goes.
I'll make sure the pot first. That's the potting. How's it come out? That has come out very well indeed. Because if that black didn't go, I'm sure it does now. This white ball is coming around lovely. What a positional shot that is. And what a perfect shot that is from Mr. Magic Mark Boyle. Got to cue this like a dream. Where's the white ball going? He looks fine. Has he got an angle? He has. Into tonight's quarter-final matchup. He plays everyone exactly the same. Expect him to move the red. That's exactly what he's done. He's now opened up both top corner pockets for this black. Time's running down though.
Time foul.
And there's a time foul.
Free shot. 1 visit.
We have got some drama here. Mark Boyle. He's hit that with a lot of venom, we've seen. He just needs to get on it nicely. And that is about exactly where he wanted it. We'll be able to see if it goes in.
He's played it more than 2 or 3 feet. He's played it absolutely perfect. And this easy black to stop the Andy Crosdale fight back.
A lot of left hand applied to that cue ball. And just enough, so. You just have to leave this near the left side to leave a cut on that black. And that looks like he's done just that.
Not going to have much time to play the shot in. Down to 4 seconds.
Portman leaves himself a little angle here, and it looks like he's done it. It's there. 5-0.
Get into it and avoid the yellow.
Wow.
2 reds on the right-hand side cushion. This looks a dream positional shot. Wow. This ball's flying in everywhere. I think he can just drop it in. He's got to do something with the white ball. Do something he has.
And Mr. Magic is moving on to tomorrow's final. It's going to be Gareth Hibbott and Mark Boyle.
And there they are, our finalists of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. I'm so excited. Joined by Kevin Barton, the chairman of the IPA, but I'm sure you know him from commentary alone. How are you feeling about tonight's final?
Well, as a pool fan, absolutely can't wait for this final to get going between these two great players. You know, they've been the best players in the tournament, deserved a place in the final. They played phenomenal pool throughout the event.
Now, obviously, you were part of putting all this together. How proud are you of how it's all gone?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic, you know, but it's been a real team effort. You know, everyone behind the camera who, you know, we all see the hard work that goes in. And, you know, the front of camera, social media, you know, yourself and Pickers, the tiny assassin, you know, you've absolutely nailed it every show. So it's been fantastic. And I just hope everyone's enjoyed watching it and the great players as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to them.
Oh, we've had a great time, haven't we? I mean, you've mentioned him already, Pickers. We can't start the show without you. Come join us, Mark.
Oh, sorry I'm a little bit late, but I've been sorting out a gift from ourselves and Onboard Sportswear, one of our partners, and Kevin is just about to go through with what was happening with that.
I'm very excited about this, by the way.
It's still a secret.
You should be.
OK, so for anyone, I've got a rough idea what's going on, but I haven't seen it yet. So for anyone who doesn't know, what's this all about?
So we've been doing a social media campaign. Our team have been looking for suggestions for a nickname for you, your pool nickname.
Which scared me, I'll be honest. I was worried what people were going to come up with.
So I want to thank everyone who put some absolutely fantastic suggestions forward, and Mark's going to give you the top three.
OK.
There has been hundreds, and it's been very hard to, you know, dwindle it down, but we've got it down to the final three.
Yeah, I've saw quite a few of them on Twitter in particular. And I'm just hoping some of them didn't make an appearance. I don't think it's allowed, really, for them to make an appearance on television.
Well, we've made a decision now, Kelly, and I'm just about to go through it now. So in third place was from Andrew Devonshire. Thank you very much, Andrew. Beauty on the Bays, which I thought was absolutely superb.
I'll take that, I'll take that.
Second place, this was a tough one to call, and we were thinking about it, God, every day. And Paul from Paul Denby, thank you, Paul, for that. Hot to trot, Kelly Scott.
I like that. So it's a positive one. They could have gone a lot worse.
Well, we made a decision, and the decision, you know, the winner of this was from Kai Dixon. Thanks very much, Kai.
And it's got on an actual T-shirt now.
This is superb. The Queen of Pots, Kelly Scott.
I absolutely love that. Particularly as my other half's surname is Potts as well, so it works like doubly better.
Oh, wow. We didn't even know that.
That's really good.
Yeah, we did.
Let me see.
So, this is the shirt. And just to show everybody at home,
I absolutely love it.
The Queen of Pots, Kelly Scott, is now part of the nickname crew.
I love that because I've just been kind of new to the world of pool, and I've been learning over the past 7 weeks and falling in love with it, and now I feel like I'm probably part of the gang.
You are.
Which is great.
This is yours.
Well, thank you. Well, I can't believe that nickname at all. That's amazing. So who was it who came up with this one?
Kai Dixon.
Thank you so much, Kai.
We had hundreds to look through,
Scott.
and yeah, it was superb.
I love it. I'm going to pop it on in a minute. And there's been some absolutely amazing nicknames throughout this whole tournament, hasn't there? What's been your favourite? Any standout ones?
Well, there's been lots of standout ones. I think the funniest one for me was the Buddha, Craig Marsh. I mean, that is hilarious for me. I was in stitches when I realised that was his nickname.
Did you hear the story behind it as well, when he said that he was at a restaurant, folded his arms?
Yeah.
Everyone started laughing, and he was actually next to a Buddha in the same position, and that's how he came up with it. Absolutely love that.
Amazing.
Stunt double. And one of our finalists, Gareth Hibbott, the Godfather. I think that's a fantastic nickname as well, and absolutely suits him down to the ground. So I think they were the two standout ones for me. Yeah,
Mr. Magic. You know, we saw plenty of magic on that table yesterday. You know, it's another standout one. You know, Lightning Bolt, Toby Bolt was a great one. But one was my favourite, was Chris Boron, the bazooka, the Boron. He was, we call him the dancer.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How good was the walk on?
Yeah, that's what I mean. His name's great, but if we could give a prize for the best walk-on, he'd be right up there. I mean, he was amazing. He really went for it. There was him, and there was Bez as well, did an absolutely brilliant one. And I think you did quite a good one as well.
I got forced into that a little bit, but I did.
Do you want to
really
recreate it now for the finals? There was a little bit of a shimmy. It was good.
It was sort of jazz hands sort of thing, weren't it?
I knew you'd want to do it again. You really enjoyed it. But we have had a lot of fun, haven't we? Like backstage as well. It's been great.
It really has. You know, every player, they've just enjoyed it so much. You know, we are a bit of a pool family. You know, even at tour, everyone talks to each other throughout the pool world, and it's fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been obviously you guys have been here for the full duration, but you know, when I've been up, you know, the atmosphere is great. You know, the players all know each other. You know, the crack behind the scenes. You know, people like Ronan and Sheppy.
That's probably one of the funniest moments, and I'm really sorry for anyone who's watching at home because it happened before we went on air. The banter between them two was wild.
And even when it was on air, you know, we could still see it. Luckily, we had a few more cameras than what the audience did, and we still saw the banter going on throughout the game, which was fantastic. And it just proves how close these players are.
Now, I've got to ask, obviously watching all the games, any standout for you? Any moments in any games that you were like, wow?
Well, I think I saw a stat. We've had 16 matches that have gone to a final frame.
Yeah.
So any of those, I think for me, the Jason Rimington comeback against Ben Davies, 5-3 down, won the last 3. Very, very impressive. Bearing in mind the form that Ben Davies was in, you know, I think he was one of the big favourites to do well. So I think for me that's got to be up there. But there's probably others that I can't even remember.
There's been so many, hasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, one of the deciding ones that I really enjoyed was Gareth Hibbott. You know, it was only recently against John McAllister. That went right down to 6-5, like we sort of predicted it would, and that was a fantastic game as well. I think some of the comebacks that we've seen throughout this tournament as well has been really, really exceptional.
Yeah. Robert Stephen, I think, was he 4-0 up?
4-0 up.
Darryl Whitworth came back and won the next 6. I mean, that's... that was a fantastic performance there, and it started from the first day, didn't it? You know, when Ross Fernie, the Riot, dumped out the defending champ, and it's just been drama ever since.
And a couple of games that I'm going to have to, well, more than 2 games I'm going to have to mention is that you both were playing part of this
I'm sure
tournament.
Kevin would love to talk about his.
No, but how was it being involved with it, being actually one of the organisers of the whole thing? I know you don't really want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I was quite nervous, I think, as I said, you know, at the time, at the start, because you just don't know what you're going to do. You know, you don't want to do anything stupid, you know, in front of the cameras. And, you know, I've not played for probably 7 or 8 years, really, in any serious nature. So, yeah, my expectations were very low, and, you know, I delivered on that.
But it's nice now knowing what all the players had gone through. Like yourself, as we call you here, well, behind the scenes we call him the Tiny Tapper, because what you don't see is he does that little dancing when the cameras
I did think I was going to mention this. This isn't in the script.
But the official is the Tiny Assassin. You did very well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did do very well.
And surprised a lot of people, including me, and I admit I was wrong when I did say, I'll say it now, in the final, when I said I couldn't imagine you being able to play. I couldn't imagine, but I was wrong, and I'm pleased.
Yeah, and both of you two ripped me off completely. I sort of ripped myself off, to be honest. But when I sort of took a 5-0 lead, and I felt really comfortable, considering, you know, we have both been out of the game for so long. And, you know, we haven't played competitive pool for so long.
Now, we do have a bit, like I was saying before, we have a lot of laughs behind the scenes. And one thing we wanted to do, wasn't it, to make sure for the players, it's very stressful being in the arenas and doing all that. So we had a little bit of fun with our 10-ball bash. Do you want to explain that, Mark?
Yeah, so in the evening sort of show, you know, we had the players come together, the 2 finalists, and we weren't all serious all the way through. We had to have some fun, but trust me, these players were taking it serious. There was a £250 prize up for grabs from 8 live, and some of the actual scores on this is fantastic. So some of the rules: we used 15 numbered balls. We played 10 shots within a 1-minute shot clock. All the balls must stop before playing the next shot. The 8 ball can only be potted after either all the stripes or all the spots have been potted on the 10th shot. The aim is to score the highest, and the maximum score is 120. But let's have a look at some of the final 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got Ben Davies up here. He's trying to get these stripes.
3.
And Ben Davies, as you see, he's not rushing around, but that cue ball looks to be pretty much under control. Remember, Ben is one of our former world champions and one of Kevin's favourite matchups.
6.
The aim of this game is to take the stripes out. And look how quick he's demolished these. He's still got 1 more left on his bottom cushion. He's taking these out lovely. He's on his 8th shot now. About 10 seconds left to try and place 2 shots is the norm. Just whether he can get that cue ball to stop,
9.
to play it all. It looks like he's going to run out of time, and he's only got 9 shots in. But he has scored. He weren't one of the winners, but he came within our top 10. Ben Davis got 97.
Yeah, next up, Arfan Dad, the daddy. You know, the key to success is to big break, hopefully pot 2 or 3 balls from the break, really tight cue ball control, and try and pot as many of those stripes as you can early on, and then use your final few shots for some of the solids. Bit of a miss there from Arfan, showing quite some nimble speed around the table. Not something you'd see Ben do, but you know, different ways to approach this this competition. And as Mark said, a nice healthy £250 up for grabs for the winner, provided by 8live.com. So all the players were keen. They don't want to sniff the nose up at a chance to win that £250 for a minute's work. That's pretty good value, if you ask me. So the white went in, but Arfan, last couple of shots.
9.
Can he get them in before the time runs out? He
10.
can. And in the end, that was a pretty good attempt by Arfan, and he equalled Ben Davis's total, and he also scored 97.
Well, the next player up is one of the best players in the tournament, and one of the ones with the best nickname as well. And just look how nimble this guy is around the table. Kevin, you're going to have to commentate on this because obviously it's me.
2.
Well, this guy should be in the Olympics for his movement around the table. Look at the concentration there from the tiny assassin.
3.
I've not seen that much concentration throughout this tournament
4.
from anyone. He's got the white on a bungee rope. He's not got a clue where it's going, but somehow he
5.
keeps putting these stripes. You can see the focus there.
6.
Just slice that stripe in. Is he going to get the red one next?
7.
Yeah, he was playing well at this point. He's got a pretty good score. 3
8.
shots left. Bit of a hit and hope. One of his
10
specialty
seconds.
shots. And look at that. 2 shots in. 2 balls
9.
played with that shot. And he's got 1 left. A couple of
10.
seconds left.
Time.
Pretty good attempt there from Mr. Pickworth. And his score was 101.
Well, congratulations, Mark.
Well, I'm worn out after that. I don't know how everybody else is.
But we will have more of those. You obviously weren't the winner, were you? But
No,
you
we weren't
were
the
kind
winner.
of close.
But we're going to see the final 4 in the mid-session interval.
Yeah, we definitely will. By the way, I'm just saying.
That
I
top
think
looks
I'm
lovely.
official now.
Fits well.
I'm official player. I just need to learn to play, and then I'm properly part of the gang, aren't I?
You're already part of the gang.
Well, talking about the gang, we're not complete at the moment. We're all here right now, but unless we have Jim White with us, it's totally not a party. Come join us, Jim.
How are you guys doing?
Yay! Good afternoon. It's great. It's great to see you because normally we just hear your voice, so it's lovely to actually be able to see you in person. How are you feeling ahead of the final tonight?
You know what? I'd have been real curious what you'd have done if these two would have been in the final. Who would you have had in the studio, Kelly?
I would have flew you over.
No, you know what? It's been fantastic, and I can't tell you. I mean, a shout out to all the players that competed in this event. You know, having been on the sidelines for over a year and to come out and all of a sudden, you know, be stuck in hard match play, it's so difficult. And every one of them deserve a pat on the back. And I think, as Kevin has said, you know, the 2 best players in the event have made their way through to the finals today. And I think we're all on the edge of our seat. None of us can wait for it.
Have you been surprised, Jim, at the standard throughout the tournament? You know, bearing in mind, you know, these players have not picked a cue up in anger for 15 months.
Very surprised, Kevin. I mean, it's you know what? I'm a fan too, and I hope that comes through in my commentary because it's a sport that, for me, doesn't get the sort of recognition that it really should, because these guys are real. They're gritty. They've got a lot of character. They show a lot of class around the table. They're all sportsmen, and when you see them compete, And it's a lonely world out there. When you're in your chair and the other guy's at the table, I'll tell you, that might be the last place you want to be. But you look at their eyes and the focus and the concentration, and it all comes through. There's so much involved in being able to play cue sports at a high level. And like I said, have been on the sidelines now for over a year. For these guys to come out and play at this level, it's been eye-opening, and I'm so happy for all the pool fans all around the UK and anyone that's lucky enough to catch this, because they're all being treated to some brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and Jim, you know, you've been very lucky to commentate on some of these players, and you saw both these players in action yesterday. You know, I've got some of the odds for these players, which has sort of surprised me a little bit, but not with the way that they played yesterday. So we've got Gareth Hibbott is evens for this to win this tournament, and then Mark Boyle at 8-11-1. So he's one of our favourites for our betting partners. Does that surprise you?
Not at all. I mean, the way that Mark played yesterday, I was having a quick chat with my co-commentator today, Dan Fairway, and he feels that Mark is peaking at the right time, and I couldn't agree more. He might be finding that extra gear that is needed to get into a championship final, and for me, it is all about just focus, a form of relaxed concentration. And as a good friend of mine, Jimmy White, said many, many years ago, you've got to go out and play like it means nothing when it means everything. And I think Mark has found that.
Now, I was lucky enough to chat with both of the players last night after their games. Why don't we find out first what Gareth had to say? Well, firstly, congratulations, Gareth. You're in tomorrow's finals. How are you feeling right now?
Feel great, yeah. I was made up to win earlier. It was a tough match. I got away with it a little bit. I made a few mistakes and got away with it. So it's awesome to be in the final, yeah.
Now, all those weeks ago, when you first got involved with the tournament, what were your expectations? What did you think it was going to be like?
Nothing like it's turned out, really. No, it's been a great event, and it's been sort of 15, 16 months since any of us had played any tournament. So we were all coming in a bit sort of new to it, really, from where we were. And even though I do have a pool table, I was sort of hit and miss with whether I was practicing. I was sort of had a few months off here and there, and so I just came and just thought I'd give it a go, really.
And how did you find being in the arena as well? Because for some players, they find it quite difficult because it is quite quiet.
It is. It's totally different to what we used to when you're playing in a noisy pool room. We're all brought up with that, with starting off in leagues and stuff where it's noisy and everyone's cheering. But I've enjoyed it. It's a great setup. The table's lovely, and yeah, the arena's lovely to play in. And
you won the World Championships back in, was it 2016?
Yeah.
How would it feel then? Because you had obviously won a trophy then. How would it feel to have that trophy?
I think it'd be close up there with it, because it's a beautiful trophy, and it's a massive event, and it's been such good coverage and loads of exposure, so it wouldn't be far behind the Worlds, definitely.
Definitely. And you're playing Mark tomorrow. You've obviously seen him play before. What would you say his strengths are? And is there anything that you think you can do to kind of counteract that tomorrow?
It's just his all-round game, really. He's got a good break that works superbly for him, and he's just so solid. He plays the same on every shot, whereas some of us might just throw in a lack of concentration and miss one here and there, or play a loose positional shot. He just gives every shot the respect it deserves, and he just doesn't miss much.
And, well, you've done pretty well yourself, because to get into the final, and that's it tomorrow. The final, one game away from winning that amazing trophy and being £10,000 richer. Big question, the money. Imagine you've got it in your hand. What's it getting spent on?
Oh, I can't imagine that, yeah. It's tomorrow, yeah. Maybe a nice little holiday, get away somewhere and have a little chill out for a week or two. It'd be nice, I think, the times we've had.
Definitely. And in general, have you enjoed this whole tournament?
Oh, yeah, it's been great. It's probably the best tournament I've played in, yeah. The crew have been great. You've been great. Pickers has been all right.
I'll give you, I was going to say, I'll give you a tenner later.
Yeah, no, so I've loved it, yeah. It's been really good.
Oh, it's been great to get to know you as well. And thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
So Gareth Hibbott there, the Godfather himself, which I love that name, I totally do. And it's funny, I always wondered how the players were going to prepare for the final today. He's been down the beach in South Shields with his granddaughter Lola and looking at the Angel of the North. He's been sightseeing, so he's going to be very chilled, I think, ahead of this game. Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's important.
Yeah, hopefully not too chilled though, and I'm sure he'll have his focus when he comes into the match. I mean, you know, this guy is a quality performer. You know, he's been playing at the highest level for a number of years now. You know, you don't fluke your way to a World Championship title. You know, when he won that title in 2016, that was some performance. You know, and he was at #1 for a few years around that time. you know, this guy's relentless and such an attacking player. Jim, I just wondered what your thoughts on Gareth and, you know, if Mark Boyle plays at the level that he played at yesterday, is he going to be able to live with him?
I was very impressed with Gareth yesterday because we all know he didn't start that semi-final out well, and he stuck to his guns. And you know, it sometimes can be very gratifying when you can win a match and you know you're not at your best. And for me, I don't think Gareth was at his best yesterday. Still, he won the last 3 frames to get through to the final today, and I think he will have known what he has to do to beat Mark today. I think he's going to be very ready. I expect this to be a very closely fought final, and it wouldn't surprise me who the winner is. But I know one thing, the way that Mark played yesterday, he sent a message to Gareth, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also, Jim, you know, we saw a very slow start from Gareth Hibbott where Mark Boyle, he was off like a whippet, as you actually put it. You know, how important is it to start this match off right from the very first frame?
Well, you know, both guys are in the wings right now waiting for the introduction to go out and play, and they're on pins and needles, I guarantee you that. So the early frames, always pivotal, always a chance for a player to settle in, get used to the conditions, just try and get that back arm loosened a little bit and settle in. But they're both very nervous, and it's just about whichever one of them can embrace the situation, settle in quickly, and try and put his opponent under heat. That's really what you try and do. But we all know, guys, I mean, pressure comes from within. So the quicker that you can settle into the match, the quicker that you're going to ease those nerves and let that back arm go.
Now, last night I also caught up with Mark, so let's see what he was thinking after his game last night. Well, got to say, congratulations. You have made it to the final. How are you feeling right now?
Brilliant. Feel brilliant, especially the way I played there, so I can't complain.
Now, in the past, you've won the Premier League. Winning this, where would that rank in kind of things that you've won in the past?
Okay, it'll be way up there. The Premier League had all the best players in it, and then this is just the same, but it's obviously a knockout, this one, but I still had all the best players in the event, so to win it, it would be right up there with the Premier League.
And when you first started the tournament, did you think you were going to get to the final?
Not really.
That means you did a little bit.
I'll be open and honest. Not really.
Yeah.
Just with everything that's going on. So, but the way it's worked out, you just come and play like a match, well, 2 matches each session. It's kind of worked out in my favour, I think. You know.
Now, I wasn't sure whether you'd make it to the final, only because I thought you were going to get poached from the Magic Circle after the trick that you did for me. It went down quite well, didn't it? Particularly, was it members of your family who were quite impressed?
Yeah, well, Marcus was my son. He when I got home that night, he's like, "How did you do it?" And I'm like, "I can't tell you. Real magicians don't give their secrets away." And he's like, "No, just tell me. I'm your son." And he was like that for about an hour, and then I finally told him. You know,
so you gave away the little secret.
So he's been showing his friends how to do it too.
So that's it. Now, if you were to win the £10,000, if you win tomorrow, obviously the whole tournament and the cup, but the money, is there anything you would do special with it?
It all goes to my wife, you know. Whatever she wants, really. Might go a wee break or something, but I'm not even looking that far yet.
Yes, so you've not even thought yet, in honesty,
no.
If you won that magnificent trophy, where would it go in your house?
Probably go in my pool hut.
Really?
You know, so because that'll be the first trophy I've put in it. So if I win it, that is, you know. But I know I've got a tough game against Gareth, so it's going to be got to play really well. Yeah,
you've obviously watched Gareth play a lot before. Have you played him before?
Yeah, I played him a couple of times. It's been close. I think it's like 1 each. But you're always going to get a tough game against Gareth, you know. So I know I've got to be on top of my game.
And how much are you looking forward to playing tomorrow?
Buzzing. That'll be brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations for getting this far, and best of luck tomorrow.
Grazie.
I knew you were going to do that.
Good so.
Did you notice that grazie at the end? He had to just get a little dig in. And I have seen him around today, and he did promise he was going to wear an England shirt. I've not seen an England shirt on him yet.
No.
So maybe that will be changed. I'm looking forward to see that when he comes out. I did see the Scotland one, definitely. So,
it's not happening, is it?
What are you thinking about Mark today then?
Well, you know, he's obviously going to be full of confidence after that performance last night. I guess the question, Jim, and you know, all Mark's fans will be watching this, and there are many of them. Can he maintain that level that he demonstrated yesterday? You know, has he peaked too early?
Well, that's going to be the million-dollar question, isn't it, Kevin? I mean, the tempo that he had yesterday was very consistent. I always look for a lot of unforced movement, unnecessary movement, and he didn't display any. His eyes rarely left the playing surface, even when he was in his seat. He was totally engaged and maintained that high level of focus, which you need at that level. And it's for me. I think the odds makers have it right. I think that Mark should be just slight favorite, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Gareth comes out guns blazing today too.
And the final thing from me, Jim, we've still seen both them players. That was after their match yesterday. They was very calm indeed. How important is it for both players to keep calm if things aren't really going their way?
Well, I mean, that's their words. There's neither one of them are going to be calm, Mark. I promise you. It's the nerve ends are going to be tingling until they settle into the match, and the one that gets off to the better start. And I spoke and I do speak an awful lot about how important the break is. The success off the break could be the difference in this match. It's that close to call. So. It's going to be fun. Again, I'm looking forward to it. It's it's a treat for pool fans all around that are going to be watching this, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. I promise you.
Another big question I have to ask all of you right now. It's the tough one. Who is going to win? Jim, I'm starting with you. What do you think?
Well, I'm a renowned loser in terms of picking people, Kelly. I'll let you know that too. I'm not like Mark. Mark's he's a genius, and I hope I don't put the kiss of death on Mark Boyle. But I'm just going to tip him maybe 10-8, 10-7. It's going to be a very close match, but just Mark Boyle.
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I like a bit of value. So if I was allowed to have a pound bet, I think I'm going to go for the Godfather 10-9 IPA Classic.
Okay, and pickers picks,
Saving the best till last, because obviously my view counts.
Oh, really? Well, you've done very well recently. So but I mean, more recently you've done even better than before. But what are you thinking and why?
So Gareth Hibbott, I just think he's actually been at this stage before. We saw some great stuff from Mark Boyle. It's just about whether he can keep that sort of going. But for me, this is going to be really, really tight indeed. It's going to be close, but get 10-8 to Gareth Hibbott for me.
OK, well, I guess it's time that we're going to find out, isn't it? So I know the players are ready in the back and getting ready to go. So don't go anywhere, because after the break, it is Gareth Hibbott versus Mark Boyle for the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. Coming up next. Here it is, the final of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. Let's welcome our first finalist.
Allow me to introduce one of the finest players in the game and the 2016 IPA Champion of the World. It's the Godfather, Gareth Hibbott.
Now we have Gareth in place. Let's welcome our second finalist.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the arena one of the finest QSs in the game and the former IPA Premier League champion. It's the pride of Scotland. It's Mr. Magic, Mark Boyle.
So now we have both finalists in place. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup final. Let's head over to Jim White in the commentary box.
Well, thank you very much. I've never been introduced by a queen before, but Kelly, a very deserving nickname, the Queen of Pots.
Champions Cup final, race to 10 frames. First frame, Mark Boyle at break. Time running.
And absolutely delighted to be joined by Dan Fairway. Dan, welcome to the commentary box, even though we're thousands of miles apart. This is the big
Good
one.
afternoon, Jim. This definitely is the big one. Surely the biggest sporting event in the country today. Can't think of anything going on that would top it. Absolutely delighted to be here. And what a final we've got in store. Mark Boyle, Gareth Hibbott, two of the very best in the world. Not just now, but probably for the last 10 years. Yeah, this is going to be a phenomenal final. And Mark Boyle is off to a good start with his break as well.
And it goes without saying, we alluded so often in the pre-event lead up just how well Mark started his semi-final match out against Ronan McCarthy yesterday. It just, you know, he was lights out. So, you know, he'll be looking for a carbon copy today, and he's got a pretty good starting point here.
Yeah, Mark, of course, took a 6-0 lead, I believe, in a race to 7 over Ronan McCarthy. Ronan did try to pull it back, but it was too little too late. There was almost nothing he could do against Mark. He was an absolute machine yesterday afternoon. The final is a different pressure, though. There's a fair bit on Mark here. He is a regular winner at these events. Both of them are. But you would argue that Gareth has the bigger title between them, having won the World Championship back in 2016.
Yeah, that was a tricky shot. He was cueing near that side cushion, and again, halfway through a match, you would have expected Mark to get that, but in the early going, not so easy.
Extension, please.
Yeah, it can be difficult to settle early doors. You know, I've heard a lot of people say in this tournament that they'd like the pockets to be a little tighter sometimes, and I have to say that, you know, at times I've thought that myself, but actually that does prove that it's the players. They are human, but they just don't miss very often.
Now, one problem. Oh, sorry, Dan. One problem is that yellow ball nearest the bottom left corner. Yeah, apologies to, again, to all our viewers. I mean, Dan and I can't see each other, so I don't know when he's talking nor I. So you may get the odd time where one of us might be talking and the other one will just come in.
I think the good thing there, Jim, was that we were going to say the same thing. The yellow down towards the bottom left corner is a tricky ball for Gareth. He has manufactured himself an opportunity to move it now. Or is he going to try the skill shot and just drop on it? That's decent. I'm still not entirely sure about the red, the yellow closest to the red on the right-hand side of the table. That's a tricky one as well. He may have to take that up to the top right. This is a very tough finish from here.
10 seconds.
Well, he's got an opportunity. If he plays that shot now, he should land on the other yellow because the cue ball should go into that red beside it. Just got to be a little careful. As you said, this is a difficult shot. And more so that it's frame one. There you go. So early signs of nerves from both players, and understandably so.
I think what made that shot by Gareth more difficult was that he didn't quite land straight enough on it. So he had to move the red, but also he had to move it fairly firmly. He couldn't just drop into that red, because if he had, he may have been snookered behind it. So he had to play it with a bit more pace. It just gave him a lot more to think about in that shot, and I think that's why maybe he just took his eye off the pot a little bit. That said, what a chance for Mark Boyle now.
Yeah, and you would expect Mark to finish from here. It's a race to 10, best of 19. So a little longer race, allowing players to settle in and, you know, a bit more of a chance to overcome an early deficit.
one advantage, or not advantage as such, but both these players will have experience playing long races, longer races even than this. Gareth, of course, 2016 world champion. The World Championship format is a set format, and it normally runs a lot longer than a simple race to 7 or 8. And Mark Boyle is a very proficient money match player. He will have played in races to 25, races to 30 for several £1,000s. So I don't think the length of race will have too much of a bearing on this match.
And to put the ribbon on the first frame, just eyeing up the straightforward black. And down it goes. So Mark Boyle, as he did yesterday, starts off in perfect fashion, securing the opening frame. It's a race to 10, as I said. It's Mark Boyle off the mark.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a nervy start from both. The way that Mark potted that final black felt a little bit tentative to me. You don't often see players, roll in a black like that. They normally like to cue it and, confidently make sure the ball hits the back of the pocket. But it went in, and that's all that matters. So time for Gareth Hibbott to respond.
And you know something, Dan? For me, when I see someone slow roll a ball, that tells me they're starting to settle down, because it's very easy to move when you start slow rolling balls.
Frame 2. Gareth Hibbott to break, trailing 1 frame to 0. Time running.
And Gareth Hibbott in frame 2, he'll be well aware of how fast Mark started in his semi-final yesterday. And Gareth knows the last thing he wants to do is give Mark a 2, 3, or a 4 frame head start. And dry breaks are not going to help him.
They're not. Dry breaks are certainly not welcome for Gareth Hibbott. But you have to say it's a very tricky layout. It's not the worst break to go dry on.
Extension, please.
Mark is, of course, very capable of taking these out, but the red and yellow at the top left of the table are a real problem on either set. I think he would choose reds if he can get through to this one now. To that one now, rather, but I'm not convinced that he can.
He's already used his 30-second extension. Each player allowed 1 extension per frame. Yeah, it's very close as to whether or not he can get through to enough of that red to be able to make it. He's having a look at it.
Well, I think he can. I think looking from that angle, he certainly can, I'm sure of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going for the finish here, so.
As it stands, as soon as he takes it out, he's eliminating his insurance policy because it's blocking the path for the yellow. So it just puts a little bit more pressure on the finish.
10 seconds.
Oh, Mark, I think would have been worried about where the cue ball was going there. He didn't want to catch that yellow off the cushion in the way that he did. He is still okay, and I don't think he's too hampered cueing by this black either, so no real problems there for Mark, but a little bit of a scare.
10 seconds.
Just got to be a little careful though here. I mean, is he going to try and come between black and yellow and that window for those 2 reds?
Ten seconds.
And he finds it nicely. Early indications, Mark Boyle a little better prepared than his Gareth Hibbott.
Yeah, I agree with you partially, but I think actually the only difference really between these two so far has been the break. Mark's had the choice of colour both times, so even though he broke down in the first frame, he left Gareth a horrible finish to go at. Mark still surprisingly missed that ball in the first frame, and I don't think Gareth will be getting too worried just yet.
It's 2-0 confirmed here in Gateshead. Mark Boyle, as he did yesterday, starts strong.
Very strong start from the Scotsman. But as I said, I don't think Gareth will be too worried just yet. Mark missed a ball in the first frame, and well, he's had the opportunity to get that out of his mind now, and Gareth perhaps haven't. Gareth will know that basically he just needs a bit more luck off the break, and he'll be able to get going. That wasn't a bad break in that frame, but it left Mark a decent opportunity, which he took out. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, but it goes a long way to settling Mark's nerves, establishing a little bit of confidence, and he also has an opportunity now with a good break here to park Gareth Hibbott into that chair for a prolonged period of time.
Time running.
So frame number 3, and already 2-0 in front.
Well, how hard has he hit that? And more interestingly as well, Mark Boyle has reverted to the cut break. Now, Mark's been using the front ball break for a little while now, but when he first burst onto the IPA scene, he used the cut break to devastating effect. He can hit that break seemingly harder than anyone else. And I think he won his first 2 or 3 tournaments, which is almost unheard of on the IPA. And he did it, a large part of that is down to how good his cut break is. So if he's gone back to that, it's not just Gareth Hibbott that's in trouble, it could be everyone else as well.
Well, he did have a quick look to see if this yellow went past the black into the corner, and if it does, yellows are there for the taking. And again, as I said, a chance to keep Gareth in his chair. Yeah, he's just not sure, is he? Maybe a little too straight on that yellow. It definitely passes, though. He's got the angle now to get the cue ball back towards the remaining yellows.
Yeah, this is a big shot. He's got to take this yellow and get himself nicely on one of the yellows right down the other end of the table. A lot of cue ball movement happening here. And he's underdone that by quite a long way. Mark Boyle is left with a very tough pot down the right-hand rail. This is not what he wanted at all.
Now, I'm not even sure exactly what he was trying to do there, but if he was trying to get on this yellow, better he's underhit that by about 2 feet at least.
Gareth Hibbott, what have you got in the tank? Again, for the second time in 3 frames, Gareth is coming to the table after a Mark Boyle miss with a very difficult table to go at. Obvious problem, the right corner.
10 seconds.
The bottom right corner. Gareth is going to be looking for a way to develop that red, or perhaps play the skill shot. He's looking at a very ambitious plant here. Now, I'm not convinced that's the shot, but if it is, he may have the opportunity to go into that area straight away.
His eyes have moved around the table as he has. He just still unsure as to where to start.
I love that shot. I think that's brilliant from Gareth Hibbott. That's such a confident pot. It was a tricky one, but it was the right option. Now he does have an angle on this red to the bottom left to get the cue ball going towards that bottom right corner pocket. Zero luck. Zero luck. It's a lovely shot. It's played as well as he could have done. But that red has double kissed and gone even worse. And now all he's got is a horrible
10
plant
seconds.
with no real option of position either. Tell you what,
Well,
Jim,
Mark
he'll
knows
take that.
he knows that yellow over that bottom right corner is his insurance policy. That's the reason he's leaving it there. So frame number 3, a little bit of a cat and mouse game.
Oh, I think if Mark Boyle's the cat and Gareth Hibbott's the mouse, then the mouse is pretty much in the trap. That was a lovely shot from Mark. He's put
10
Gareth
seconds.
in all sorts of trouble.
That's a great
My
containing
word.
shot.
What a return that is.
Time running.
He's actually managed to get the snooker. That is stunning cue ball control from Gareth Hibbott.
I don't know that he's covered the path to that yellow.
To be honest, I don't think that he can really lay too much of a snooker from here. Gareth Hibbott.
10 seconds.
There's a certain extent to which he's just trying to stop Mark winning the frame and hoping for a mistake from the Scotsman. What an effort this is. Well, Gareth's going to have to find something very special from here now. There's nowhere safe on the table anymore.
And sooner rather than later, I think you're going to
10
see Mark
seconds.
try to develop that awkward yellow, and the frame will be there for him.
Oh, where's
Foul.
the cue ball? Oh, that's brutal. Absolutely not what the doctor ordered for Gareth Hibbott.
One visit.
Mark Boyle will have the chance to develop that awkward
Time
yellow
limit.
now with absolutely no pressure on it.
Yeah, it could have been anything
10
but
seconds.
the foul. But again, Mark had Gareth in all kinds of trouble.
Interesting tactic there from Mark. He's decided to pot Gareth's lone available red rather than risk moving that yellow. If he's going to go game here, yeah, then he's made work for himself there, moving that yellow next to the black. He's still a heavy favourite, but I didn't like that option from Mark. I thought that was a little bit too negative.
No, Gareth has moved that red near the right-hand corner pocket where Mark's got to be a little wary. Oh, that's a
Total
great
snooker.
shot too, especially if he's taken that right-hand cushion away. It's difficult to tell, but it's going to be a lot tougher hit if he can't get to it.
It was a good safety from Mark, and it was a good escape from Gareth, but not quite good enough. He has now opened up that tricky yellow on the bottom cushion. Mark Boyle now does have the chance to take this third frame.
10 seconds.
Well, that was intentional from Mark. He's just decided to tie Gareth in yet another knot in this frame. How close is that cue ball? Can Gareth pot this red to the top right?
Yeah, this is almost a frame where he's just administered a lot of body blows, hasn't he? Because Gareth has come to the table with absolutely
what an effort
no
this
hope.
is.
One free
Oh,
shot.
it's just short.
Time running.
That would have been, that may well have gone down as the best shot in history if that red had gone in. What brilliant thinking from Gareth Hibbott. He knew he was going to pot the yellow, but if he could cut the red in, it didn't matter. And it would have opened up the pocket for his other red as well. And that, I think, is a warning shot across the bows of Mark Boyle, because although that shot didn't work, it's proof that in this rule set, even from what looks like the most difficult position, there is almost always a way out. And Gareth very nearly found it there.
Almost the shot of the tournament, but what could have been, as it is, it's Mark Boyle off 3-0 in front in the race to 10 in the final.
Frame 4. Gareth Hibbott at the break, trailing 3 frames to 0. Time running.
Welcome back to Gateshead. Are we going to see a duplicate performance from Mark Boyle? He raced out, winning the first 6 frames in his semi-final yesterday. He's won the first 3 here in the final. And Gareth Hibbott finally sees the ball go down on the break. The alarm bells aren't going off yet, but he doesn't want to fall any further behind.
Extension, please.
Yeah, it's pretty typical for Gareth Hibbott, though. 4 frames in, first chance at the table from the break, and it's tricky. The yellows would be okay if it weren't for the yellow welded next to the black. I'm not convinced what kind of a starter he's got on reds. He's got the one closest to the cue ball to the right centre, and the one closest to the left centre might go up to the top left, so that could be his option.
10 seconds.
He really hasn't had a chance to get that back arm going, though, has he, Dan? Not yet.
Well, on the basis of that shot he has now, that's a wonderful pot from Gareth Hibbott, and he's left himself in decent position as well.
$12 years difference between these two.
10 seconds.
Hibbott at 51, so you'd have to feel a decided edge in experience. Even though Mark Boyle, well, he's been there and done that as well, got the T-shirts to prove it. I think that's why this was such a mouth-watering prospect, this final, because undoubtedly 2 of the best players in this game. Well, kind of good news, bad news.
The best cueists.
Yeah, they really, and they show it too. I was told yesterday that Gareth Hibbott has made back-to-back 147s on a snooker
Station,
table.
please.
And I can't even begin to tell you how impressive that is. It's mind-boggling for me.
Gareth put a post up on Facebook asking for his nickname for this tournament. His nickname locally is God, which is why he's ended up with the Godfather. I think he decided that was a little too showy, but a lot of people said Mr. 294, and I really liked that one. I thought that was an excellent choice.
10 seconds.
Gareth has missed that pot to the top left, but it was tough. It wasn't a full pocket. I think he's covered the pocket, so... Mark's pulled off a great shot, but because Gaz has covered that top left, this is not an easy finish for Mark Boyle at all.
Ten seconds.
Mark chose the safety. It didn't work. He's left Gareth the plant to the top left.
10 seconds.
Well, the problem ball right now is the black in the middle of the table. He does have that red just below it, but that's the one he's going to have to leave the angle on if he wants to try and develop that black and win at this visit. So key shot coming very soon.
Yeah, it's tough for Gareth, but he didn't really have any choice. The way the ball's landed for him, he was always going to have to take that red last, and with it open up the black. So he'll be perhaps trusting to luck just a little. It's not a great angle either.
Yeah, now he may have no choice but to look at a double, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. Just try and leave that cue ball just below the black. Try and double it into the opposite center. And that looks just about right. This is a big shot right now, and Gareth needs it. Oh, it went into the other center. Didn't look like it was on, but Gareth more importantly saw it was. And that's a huge frame and a big win for him to stop the rot. 3-1 still to Mark Boyle. But that was a tidy finish from Gareth Hibbott.
Yeah, really nice 4-ball finish from Gaz. It was tricky. He had a lot to do with the cue ball, but he did it really well. And that will be a big nerve settler for the Godfather.
A very important one as well. He still looks pretty calm sitting in his chair.
Frame 5. Mark Boyle at break, leading 3 frames to 1. Time running.
So a 3-1 lead welcomes the 39-year-old Scot to the table. And he'll be looking for a good break. And to reestablish that 3-frame cushion.
Oh my word, what a break that is from Mark Boyle. Look how hard he has hit that cut break. This is phenomenal. I cannot tell you how difficult that is to do. If anyone wants to go down their local club and try and hit a cut break that hard, I guarantee you the cue ball will come flying off the table. Mark just does something that other players don't seem to be able to with that break.
And he's just pushed the black into a more potable position as well. So he's put his stake out here. all or nothing in frame 5.
10 seconds. Extension,
Got
please.
the obvious issue. The red closest to the cue ball, that obviously doesn't pass to the top right. Now, I don't know if he's on that down the rail now, but I suspect, even if he was, he'd be leaving that for a double. I think it would actually give nice position on the black as well. If he left that as a little bit of a back double, he could run the cue ball into the yellow on the right-hand rail, and that would leave him perfect
10
position on the
seconds.
black.
How about that shot?
Yeah, why play a double if you can move it like that? Brilliant from Mark Boyle.
Yeah, he's got all the parts, does Boyle. That's so impressive.
I'm a little surprised at that last positional shot. I thought he could have left this red for his last ball before the black. I feel like that might have made life slightly easier.
Just got to be a little careful here. Oh, he looks smooth. I mean, he's moving that cue ball around effortlessly. And he's seeing all the shots. Very clear-minded. And unerring. He's reestablished that 3-frame advantage. It's a 4-1 lead now. Mark Boyle over Gareth Hibbott.
Frame 6. Gareth Hibbott to break, trailing 4 frames to 1. Time running.
Well, as our referee just announced, it's frame number 6. Hibbott 4-1 down. And you saw an absolutely monstrous break from Mark Boyle in the last. And would you believe it? He comes to the table and breaks dry. Now, Dan, I mentioned at the outset when we were just having our studio chat, that could well be down to the break. That could be the difference in this. Well, I mean, Mark Boyle is playing superbly,
10 seconds.
and his break is so much better right now than Gareth Hibbott.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Gaz at this point because he hasn't got his break going, and Mark Boyle has got that cut break working absolutely beautifully. I feel like Mark's going to have the first chance every time he breaks if he keeps that up. It's going to take a bit of luck to stop him from Gareth now. Whereas Gareth's just not quite getting that connection that you need, and he's leaving Mark the first opportunity. And even though it might be a tricky table sometimes, just having the choice of colour set is so big in this game. You can win the frame without actually winning it just by being on the right set of balls.
10 seconds.
That's a magnificent positional shot from Mark Boyle.
It really is. You just took the words out of my mouth. Instantly, he's matured this situation into one of some promise.
Yeah, a lot of promise, because he's got the opportunity to move the black out now if he wants to.
10 seconds.
He can take the left of those two reds near the right corner, bump the black out, and then everything would be there for him.
You know, when you're in your chair and you've just broken dry and you've seen the way your opponent has been breaking and dishing up. It's got to be so disheartening, you know, to stay positive
10
and
seconds.
keep yourself in tune.
It's a brutal game, and yeah, you're absolutely right. That is what it can do to you, but Gareth's such an experienced performer. He's been there and got many T-shirts. He will be a little bit concerned, but he knows that he's got the weapons in his armoury to get himself right back in this match.
Oh, even a nifty little shot there. Negotiated the gap between the yellows. He's on the red, nearest the right cushion. Had to be very precise with that positional effort. And a perfect angle to drop nicely onto the black to the same pocket. These are all ominous signs if you're a Gareth Hibbott fan.
Well, if you're a pool fan, then they're great signs, because what you are witnessing is Mark Boyle at his very best, and that is something that is well worth watching.
And the beat goes on. He's won 5 of the first 6 frames here. It's a 5-1 advantage. Mark Boyle over Gareth Hibbott. He's halfway to the finish line. 10 required to hoist the Champions Cup.
It's been, I mean, the last couple of frames in particular from Mark Boyle have been perfect. A reverse dish and a break dish. Hasn't let Gareth out of his seat, I think. Gareth's probably looking back on those half chances in the first couple of frames that, you know, he could have won and didn't. They could be the difference at the end of this match.
Well, I asked you early on when Mark had gone 2-0 in front, and even when he went 3-0 in front, and you said, well, the alarm bells won't be going off with Gareth Hibbott quite yet. What's your feeling now, Dan?
Leading 5 frames to 1. Time running.
I think he can maybe just about hear them in the back of his mind. I still don't think they're quite at the forefront yet. They might be after this break, though.
Well, he still maintains control with the ball down off the break. Not quite as good as his last effort, though. This one will take some doing. Problem at the bottom right as we look.
10 seconds.
But the sort of form that Mark Boyle has shown us already in this final, I wouldn't discount anything. Looking for a chance even to make that red off the other red to loosen it up. He's just full throttle. It's all positivity right now for Mark Boyle.
Yep, it's very positive for Mark. Does he have the angle now to put that red closest to the bottom right corner and nudge the yellow out? Not yet, I don't think. But he does need to do something about that red closest to the corner pocket at some point. And they want to be doing it sooner rather than later.
Ten seconds.
I think he's looking at playing this one red off the other red. Now, he'll be hoping for a bit of luck, because it's not guaranteed to come back out.
10 seconds.
Yeah, just a fraction from that red dropping. And that wood could well have been the end of the frame had it gone in, but he's still in control. Gareth has to produce some magic now.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel for Gareth more and more. He just never seems to come to the table with a nice opportunity. Every time Mark makes a mistake, it makes Gareth's life harder. And, well, he can finish these yellows up from here. He can probably find a safety. But either way, it's going to be difficult.
I think that was smart, though, for Mark leaving that red top end of the table, because it takes away a few safety options for Gareth. And narrowly missed getting that red.
Mark didn't play the shot that he missed too badly.
10 seconds.
He took a good option to take it off the yellow. I wasn't convinced that it was guaranteed if he took it off the yellow, which is why I thought he might take it off the red.
Well, here's the big shot.
Hibbott there.
It's going to be that yellow onto that red. So he's playing the yellow up the cushion first. He just wants to get right behind this. And this looks pretty good. Looks dead on. So that yellow needs to follow the red in, and that'll give him a chance to secure this frame. And again, let Mark Boyle know that he's not done with him just yet.
Yeah, all Gareth needs here is to make sure that the yellow gets a full ball contact on the red. And as long as there's enough pace on it, it should drop in. A little bit like that, Jim.
You know, in his semi-final against Ross Fernie, he trailed 3-1. He was down 4-3, 5-4. I mean, he was never really in front, not until the very end. He won the last 3 frames to get home 7-5, but he really produced at the end when it was needed most.
Yeah, I mean, Gareth, no stranger to pressure. He will produce at any time. He's certainly capable of doing it. He needs to produce now, though. He's left a bit more angle on this yellow up the rail than he'd like. Oh, that's gorgeous. Brilliant, brilliant cueing from Gareth Hibbott. And he's letting Mark Boyle know he's still in this match.
Yeah, much needed win once again. 5-2, he pulls one back. Gareth Hibbott, he's not done with Boyle just yet. He's a fighter, he's a bulldog. And this match a long ways from over.
It is. It is a long way from over. It was a superb counter clearance from Gareth. Mark did not leave the Englishman an easy table there at all. Let's have another look at this skill shot. There's a bit of distance on that, so it's tricky, but all you've got to do with that is cue it and make sure you get a full contact. It's a good shot, though. Very good shot.
Equally important, too, that even though mistakes have been at a premium from Mark Boyle's cue, the ones that have come, they've got to be punished.
Thank you. Frame 8. Gareth Hibbott to break, trailing 5 frames to 2. Time running.
Well, we'll see if Gareth can find a little success on the break.
Well, it's successful in that he's made a ball. Is it successful as in he's got a good chance? It's not great.
Extension, please.
Problems on both colour sets. The yellow on the bottom rail, the 2 reds on the right. Possibly the red to the top right as well.
It's been my experience watching these top players that when you've got an awkward area, you want to try and attack it as soon as possible. Don't leave it to the end because your options dwindle.
To be honest, Gareth options for this yellow on the bottom right dwindled immediately. This really is his best chance. Does that yellow on the rail pass the other yellow to the bottom right? It must do. He's played on it. This is a huge shot now for Gareth Hibbott.
Just flicked the yellow on its way by, and unlucky for him that he's bumped that red right up against the other yellow. Watch this. There was just room for that to go by and just feathered the yellow and still dropped, but how unlucky is that, knocking that red up to the other yellow?
Well, I think, to be honest, Gareth will probably feel that he was a little bit lucky to make the pot, having missed it by that much, for it to just spin off that other yellow. But yeah, a little unlucky, but it still goes. So all he had to do was to control the cue ball just like that, Jim.
Yeah, this is some kind of clearance. So well done, Gareth Hibbott. First time in the match, you've won 2 in a row, and all of a sudden, this final has a heartbeat again. 5-3, still to Mark Boyle. But Gareth Hibbott has secured a little bit of momentum.
That was a nice finish from Gareth. His first from the break, his first break dish of the match. And it's come at an important time. We're going to be going into an interval soon. And actually, if Gareth can get to that interval, you know, still well in the match, then he'll feel pretty good, actually.
Well, Mark will know he's been pegged back a little bit now, so if nothing else, a little bit of pressure been applied by his opponent.
3. Time running.
He really does hit them hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, this is probably the worst one he's hit, and it's still a great break. He didn't quite get the split that we've seen previously, but he's made a ball, and they're pretty much all open. There's
10 seconds.
Perhaps a little bit of a problem with the red and yellow nearest the black spot. But this is a good chance for Mark to extend his lead to 3 frames once again.
In his mind, he's just weighing up the path to try and take these colors out.
There will be an interval after this frame, Jim. So it could be 5-4 or it could be 6-3, and you feel like that could make a very big difference at the end result of the match.
Yeah, it'll also make that cup of tea taste a little better. If you're Gareth Hibbott, you can get back to 5-4.
Well, Mark's chosen his his yellows here. He's worked out his pattern. Obviously, his pattern somewhere involves that yellow nearest the black spot. The question is, does he move it or does he land on it to the top right? Because I don't think it goes anywhere else.
10 seconds.
It may be exposed enough where he can make it bottom right. But either way, that's a pretty good recovery shot.
Well, it did go bottom right. That made the finish a lot easier for Mark.
Yeah, that overhead camera angle, it can be a bit deceiving.
I think we'll just blame my tired 31-year-old eyes, Jim.
He's left himself an angle on this last yellow to just follow through and drop on that final yellow top right as we look.
Ten seconds.
It looks like he may have decided to pull the cue ball over to the left-hand side rail. Just preference how you play this.
No, I'm totally with Mark on that. I think this cloth is so slick that if he just dropped it in, it's so easy to overhit it and end up a lot further away from that yellow. Clear thinking from the Scotsman.
So it is Mark Boyle that goes into our mid-session interval with a 3-frame advantage. It's 6-3 in the Champions Cup final. We'll be back with more action in about 15 minutes' time.
Well, what a game already our final is looking like. What are you thinking? Where are your heads at?
Well, Matt Boyle has continued where he left off last night in that semi-final. I mean, a sublime performance. I mean, at 5-1 it was looking one-way traffic. But, you know, Gaz Hibbott is showing world champion qualities. You know, he got back to 5-3, 6-3. I think Gareth would have been happy with 6-3 when he was 5-1 down. So, you know, Matt Boyle in the driving seat, but Gareth's still got a lifeline.
And what we've got to remember, you know, Gareth hasn't made too many mistakes in this final yet. He can still get into this. You know, we have seen Mark Boyle again start off like a rocket, but Gareth, don't get me wrong, he has been a world champion for a reason, and he will get back into this final.
Are you surprised at how it's gone so far? Any surprises at all?
Not really. I mean, the first frame, early nerves from both players. You know, we saw that. That's, you know, bound to happen. But, you know, Mark, he got that frame and settled into the match straight away. Some sublime clearances, you know, from Mr. Magic. He really was, you know, holding all the aces. But, you know, Gaz, he's still hanging in there.
Well, talking about Mark, we've got to look at some of his breaks. I think we're going to be able to play a little clip now.
Yeah, I mean, the breaks have been a big difference between the two players. You know, both have got, you know, good breaks. Yeah. But, you know, Gareth's just not really getting his going. So he's not really getting into the frame. You know, Mark's getting all the early opportunities. You know, we see there the timing and the power of that cut break. He's absolutely got that mastered, and he is the best in the world at that type of break.
Yeah, and just on that break, Kevin, you know, we said it's very masterful. I mean, if a normal pub player would try to play that cut break at that power, what would happen?
Well, the white's going to be in the, you know, behind the bar somewhere. Yeah, it's a phenomenal skill that he's got there. In years of practice, he's honed it in. I mean, Gareth has got, you know, a different type of break for Gareth. You know, he's straight on, down the middle, gets everything behind it, plenty of body movement, everything into it. But, he you know, we talk about the pool gods. Well, they're just not smiling on him at the moment. But it could turn around.
Absolutely. But we've also seen 2 reverse clearances from Mark Boyle off Gareth Hibbott's break. Do you think that's sort of got to change throughout this sort of match?
Well, you know, he's playing at such a level, Boyle, at the moment. It's hard to see how Gareth is going to be able to live with him, you know, in the second half of the match. But, you know, we've seen it time and time again. I've said it before, probably sounding like a broken record. We see matches turn around. You know, the intervals come at the right time for Hibbott. And, you know, hopefully, you know, the pool gods might, you know, be more favourable on him in the second part of the match.
Yeah, we've seen sort of a mini comeback from Gareth Hibbott already. But we just saw that very sort of last minute, that last frame. Things could have gone wrong for Mark Boyle, but they just seem to be happening for him at the moment.
Yeah, it's getting those little rubs that you need to win a tournament like this. You know, that last frame was crucial. Well, maybe not crucial, but really important in the context of the match. And, you know, Mark broke, great break. It looked like nothing was going to go down and Gareth was going to get a chance for 5-4. And that last red just snuck into the bottom corner, and another sublime clearance from Mr. Magic.
Now, we're going to be talking very shortly about what we're going to expect from the rest of this game. But the two gentlemen in our final, I have a big question. Are they in the top, is it top 4 of our 10 ball bash? Because we do have to announce the winner. So this could be a perfect time while we've got the interval.
OK, right, well, we'll have to announce the winner then. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a little video. We've got some of the footage. Yeah.
So next up is Craig Brown, one of the IPA pros, and he's out of the table now. As we said before, really important to make sure you have a good break, and then you know, go put all the stripes and try and get as many of the solid ones as you can at the end. And you see Craig played a bit of a loose positional shot there. Another thing as well is you want to keep that white really tight under control. You don't want the white spending time moving around the table. So Craig's played 6 shots down to 21 seconds. Not much time to size the shots up, but great pots there. Very good potter, Craig Brown. This looks like a pretty good total he's going to amass here. Fires that last stripe in, and now it's just whatever is the highest ball he can get with his last shot, which he does. Good attempt there from Craig. Can he beat the 97 that was leading? Oh, 101 that was leading from the Tiny Assassin. Yes, well, tied. So we've got at the moment joint leaders.
So this is Jack Whelan, our number 4th seed in this tournament. And, you know, Craig Brown came 4th in this, joint with myself, of course. But you see Jack Whelan there had a great break, and these stripes are opened up. It's really important that they just keep this white ball from moving a very small distance.
5.
For a very tall lad, he's very nimble around the table.
7. 8. 10 seconds. 9.
And he's just got 5 seconds left to play his last shot, and that was a good performance there. And Jack Whelan was very close to winning the £250 up for grabs. He scores 102.
Jack just nips into the lead. So next up, Gareth Higgins. What can he do? Good break.
2.
And straight away getting into those strike balls. Bit of a plant he's got to make here. No problem. Taking it pretty calmly around the table.
5.
But that white ball, as you can see, hardly moving.
7.
And Gareth is he's probably only taken a few strides in the whole of this break. He's got the white everywhere he wants it to be.
8.
Tricky plant, nails the plant. 2 shots left.
9.
And the last shot is obviously he's going to pop this last stripe.
10 seconds.
So he managed to get 11 balls. Plenty of time left there from the bullet. And what was his score? 105. So he is in the lead.
OK, he's in the lead so far, but who is the actual winner? Should we find out? From the start of the tournament, behind the scenes, all the players have been taking part in a bit of a fun game called the 10-Ball Bash, sponsored by 8 Live Production Company, with the person who got the highest score winning £250. It is now time for me to announce the winner. And the winner, scoring 110, is Jimmy Carney. Welcome over here. Congratulations.
Wow.
I'd give you a
Thank
hug, but we can't.
Oh, yes.
Because of
Keep the
COVID.
distance.
I'd like to hand you over this, and if you have a look
Thank you very much.
inside, you've won yourself
Lovely check. Thank you.
£250.
Wow, thank you very much. I think the wife spent this already, but always great to win something, so thank you very much.
Congratulations. Did you enjoy doing the bash? Did you
Oh,
find it easy?
Of course, it was a new experience, and anything with a cue and balls and a table and pockets, brilliant.
I'll tell you later how badly some of the others did. But for now, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you enjoy spending the money.
Thank you.
1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10 seconds. 10. Great score.
So a massive congratulations to Jimmy Carney. I presented that to him earlier in the week, and good on him for keeping it quiet, because he wanted to tell everyone at the time, all the people that he'd beat, but he wasn't able to. So well done, you can tell everyone now, although they're possibly going to know already. How did you score when you did it?
I got 101. There was 32 players in that, and I came fourth.
Did you have a go in the end?
No, I didn't quite make it.
32, not quite really getting to the top me, but never mind. So that's one winner already of the day, so congratulations to him. We've got another huge winner on the way. What do we think's going to happen now for the rest of the game?
Well, I think it can go one of two ways. I think we can just see the Mark Boyle steam train continue chugging along its track and being a comfortable winner, or we're going to see the pool gods in action. We're going to see things turn around for the Godfather and then nip and tuck all the way to a 10-9 finale, which we all hope will be.
That's what we do want. What do you think, Mark?
Well, we saw some early sort of misses from Mark Boyle very early on in the match. But what Gareth's got to do is stop these unenforced errors. These odd positional shots, he's got to cut that out for him to win this match today. I still think it's going to be close.
Yeah. I am hoping it's going to be close. Well, whatever it is, it's going to be an absolutely amazing game. We go back to the action, find out who's going to be the winner of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup after this break.
Frame 10. Gareth Hibbott to break, trailing 6 frames to 3. Time running.
A very warm welcome back. So Mark Boyle, he started out winning the first 3 frames in this 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup final. And that's exactly what his lead stands at right now. We're heading into the business end. And it's 6-3. Boyle looking good value right now, and it's down to Gareth Hibbott to try and establish a little bit of momentum here. He's got to let his opponent know
10
that
seconds.
this is a long ways from being finished. But the way that Mark Boyle has been breaking Dan Fairway, it's some of it could be in the hands of the pool gods.
Yeah, I completely agree. If Mark keeps his break up, then Gareth's got
please.
a very tall order, but it looks like Gareth's been working on his breaking arm in the interval. Maybe he's been weightlifting or something, because he's definitely caught hold of those the best he has so far in the match. As is always the way, though, when the balls aren't quite running for you, it's left him a problem. And you can see him there pointing his Q-tip at it, that red is difficult and definitely needs dislodging. Can he do it now? Well, he can, but he won't be too happy with the result. Cue ball has stayed locked on that bottom cushion. Does he even have a shot on? I can't see one obvious, Jim.
No, a little unfortunate there, and you saw his body language told a tale.
10
You know,
seconds.
nothing coming easy right now for Gareth.
No, he's trying to play this one cushion first. This is very difficult. Unfortunately for Gareth, a little too difficult.
It's not been the way that
10
he
seconds.
had scripted it
Extension,
in his
please.
dreams last night. This isn't the easiest finish, though, for Mark either.
No, he's used his extension here. He's weighing up his options. It clearly isn't a difficult finish, an easy finish. But that is a lovely first positional shot.
Yeah, he wants to get that yellow away from that corner that is covered by one of Gareth's reds. And that's not his best positional effort.
No, I'm not entirely sure what he was playing for there. He may have been playing to double the yellow on the right-hand side, because where the red was, it would have left a big pocket for the double. However, he's now moved the red, so that's a very difficult double. It's either that or a difficult long pot. Double it is. No, he's caught that all wrong. It's a long way away from Mark Boyle. Gareth Hibbott is let off the hook, but what has Mark left him? Not very much, I can tell you that.
Well, that was a saving grace as far as Mark was concerned. That cue ball was always going to be tracking up this end of the table. So if he found cover over that red near the top left,
10 seconds.
It was never going to be easy. What a shot. What a shot from Gareth Hibbott there. That's just exactly what he needs. And
that's outrageously good.
Also, he's bumped the yellow up into a tricky position, so a little bit of insurance. But what a shot from Gareth there.
It was such a thin cut. He's done so well to make that from there. And it looked, when Gareth missed that first chance, like we were probably going to go 7-3, and that would have been a big, big scoreline. 6-4, it's anyone's game, Jim.
And to stress the positives, he's won 3 of the last 4. So Gareth Hibbott, come on down. This is your time to be counted. 6-4, you're right. Every chance. And that opening shot, that's got to put him in good stead as this match progresses.
Yeah, I think Gareth will be... That chair will be just that little bit more comfortable now for Gareth Hibbott. And it might just stoke up the nerves of Mark Boyle a little bit. He knows he had a chance in that frame. It was a difficult one, but it's one that he would expect to take. So,
frame 11.
Big frame now for Mark.
Mark Boyle at break, leading 6 frames to 4. Time running.
Well, a little too much mustard in that one. And that cue
That's what
ball
happens when you get
flew
that
off
wrong.
the table.
One free shot, one visit.
Yeah.
Time running.
This is when we talk about Mark Boyle being able to hit that cut break and how does he hit it that hard. That's because 99% of the time, if you try and hit it that hard for most players, that's what happens. In this case, it has happened to Mark Boyle, and it's the first time I've ever seen it. What an opportunity it's opened up for Gareth Hibbott, though.
This could be an amazing turnaround. I mean, Gareth, if he can get out here, he'll break in the next, and maybe during that mid-session interval, he did hit a few breaks and just found the secret, the magic spot. But these yellows are in the open, and every chance to get to 6-5 and breaking. Well, the reds, sorry. The first shot was the free shot, so he's elected reds. I mean, reds and yellows are all open.
Yeah, that was clever from Gareth. He got rid of that yellow first up, knowing that once that ball was gone, he could go whichever way he wanted. In the end, he chose reds. He could equally have chosen yellows. I don't think it would have mattered. Honestly, he absolutely should not be missing these.
Yeah, Gareth has to feel like he has wrested control of this final away from Mark Boyle. And much like the semifinal yesterday, he's finishing very strong now. And 6-5, and with the break to come.
Well, probably the oldest cliche in sports, Jim, is it's a game of two halves. But it's it's a cliche because it's true. And I think we might be seeing it here. Gareth has flown out of the box after the interval. Mark just looks a little bit more worried now. There's a little bit more tension in that face for me.
And look at Gareth. He can't wait to get at him.
Frame 12. Gareth Hibbott to break, trailing 6 frames to 5. Time running.
Things are happening, Jim. The last ball rolling goes in. The worm has definitely turned. And Gareth Hibbott now is getting the run of the balls and getting the first chances.
And once again, both suits are available, just about position and the sequence with which he sees the removal of the color.
As you say, could go either way. Chooses reds. Feels like that's the most natural pattern, the most natural route around the table.
How often have we seen it in various cue sport disciplines where there's a break and you see a match completely turn around? There's every chance here for Gareth to secure the first 3 frames following that mid-session break. And all his fans back in Southport, well, they're going to be inching a little closer to the edge of their seat, a little closer to the TV screens.
I think he's just finished a little straighter than he'd like on this red next to the black, Jim. And it's going to cause him to change his pattern here. He wanted to be able to stun that in for the next red closest to the bottom right pocket. And now he's got a little bit more angle than he'd like, so just needs to be careful with this one.
Well, same with this. He's got to be just a little careful. If he was straight on this red, he'd be perfect, but he's not quite straight. Oh, tricky black here. Thinnish cut, bottom left. And dead center, Gareth Hibbott. He's won the last 3 frames. It is now 6-6 in our final.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful standard so far, and it's been getting better and better, actually. Just before the break, we saw Mark Boyle run out 2 frames in a row and keep his opponent sat down. Now it's Gareth Hibbott's turn, and it has brought the scores back to level.
At 51 years of age, his pro ranking at 11. And as we've said, slight edge and experience to Mark Boyle, but 2 of the best players the game has seen over the last few years.
Be interesting to see what Mark Boyle does with the break now, Jim. Whether he changes away from the cut break.
Mark Boyle to break. Scores tied 6 frame all. Time running.
No, he's sticking with it. Watch the cue ball.
Quite amazing, really.
Yeah, this really is an incredible game. Up until the interval, every time Mark Boyle hit that break, it turned to gold. Now, it's just leaving Gareth chances. Now he's gone for reds here, and I think that is because the red and yellow that are touching ball near the black spot, it looks to me like the red will go bottom left. And once he takes that out, there's no real clusters, nothing to stop Gareth from continuing his march in this match.
Just checking to see if it passes to the right side as well. It's close. And getting position to that very last red at the top end of the table that he's looking at right now. He's got to try and drop below it. So the angle to the penultimate red, vital.
Well, I like that. That's very clear thinking. He goes up the table first. It was his best chance of dropping on this red. And then the red I spoke about previously, the one that's close to the yellow. Well, he's going to be naturally on that from this red to the right centre. So Gareth's got his patterns very well worked out in this frame.
You know what else is noticeable, Dan? Look at how much quicker he's moving around the table. almost always a sign of confidence. Well, this is just the sort of play that a lot of Gareth Hibbott fans were looking for. He's won the last 4 in a row, and for the first time in this final, he sees himself just in front, 7-6, and it is heating up.
Yeah, what a time to go in front, Jim. You know, from 5-1 down, he now leads 7 frames to 6. It's been a remarkable comeback from Gareth Hibbott, this really has.
Well, penny for your thoughts. Mark Boyle, what's going through your mind right now? You had complete control of this final, a 6-3 advantage at the mid-session interval, and you have yet to bother the scorekeeper since. Now it's your turn to try and pull it together.
Frame 14. Gareth Hibbott to break, leaving 7 frames to 6. Time running.
And again for Gareth, not unlike his last break, it's one of the last balls moving that drops in. Look at that bottom right corner there on your screen now. That yellow was hung there, and the red just moved across to knock it.
Please.
I think Gareth's looking at a plant first up, that yellow onto red. The problem he's got with that is if the yellow stays there, it's going to create a problem for him. So he's looking to hit it as thin as possible so that the yellow moves out of the way.
Yeah, it was always going to be the problem, wasn't it? It was a little too straight to try and get that yellow away from that corner, so it's still covering that one red.
Yeah, if that doesn't go, he may choose to slow down here and take that pocket. But he does have an angle on this one to move it.
And he's got an angle on this red. It's a thin cut, bottom right. Looks like the cue ball will open up the red and yellow on the right-hand side as well.
Yeah, he just needs to catch the yellow as full as he can, because if he just slides off it, he'll make it worse. He'll take that, Jim.
He's thinking very aggressively right now, too. Every time he comes to the table, he's looking to finish.
He's got hampered cueing on this red now, though, and he's got to get the cue ball out into a half-decent position. This is very, very tough. Not that you'd know it from the way he played it. Terrific shot by Gareth Hibbott. Absolutely beautiful cueing from a very difficult position.
He almost never gave our cameraman time to get there and show how difficult the cueing was.
I think he's underdone that one a bit. I suspect
for me,
he was
if he
coming
can
back across.
If he can still finish here, this will be his best effort of the final thus far. Well, he's going to have to play this and follow through, play that black to the left side. Big shot. And it carries all the weight of a frame win if he gets it.
10 seconds.
Oh my word. Under that pressure, Gareth Hibbott, he's just stroked that red in, leaves himself perfect on the black. This is brilliant from the Godfather, and he now leads Mark Boyle by 8 frames to 6. Can he continue this form? We'll be right back after this break.
Frame 15. Mark Boyle to break, trailing 8 frames to 6. Time running.
You join us at the most opportune of moments. Gareth Hibbott has won the last 5 frames on the trot. Trailed 5-1 at one point in this final, 6-3 at the mid-session interval, now enjoying an 8-6 advantage. As we see Mark Boyle breaking, and finally now that's just the way things are starting to run for Mark. And he smiles,
Oh,
but
no.
I promise you that's an outward smile only, isn't it?
Well, if this next break is dry, then Mark Boyle is going to be furious. He's caught the break as well as he could have done. He's made a ball, and then the black has just dropped in at the last second. This is a horrible game at times, and Mark Boyle is seeing every part of that now. Means our referee, our man in the middle, Brian Moss, doing a great job. Just has to re-rack the balls, and we will get started again with Mark to break. There is no penalty for potting the black off the break. It is simply a re-rack.
Mark Boyle to break again with no penalty. Time running.
Yeah, and it was a superb break too. Well, hence the smile afterwards.
Boyd break.
No way. What is happening here? He's done it again.
What's the record for black balls off the break consecutively?
I don't know. From personal experience, I've seen 3 in a row. So if we get there, then we may break my personal record if he goes one more. But this is just astonishing. What's he got to do?
There's
Feels
no
like his
overtime,
break's totally
no
dried
overtime
up.
pay for the referee, is there?
I hope not. We'll have to decrease the prize money.
Well, that's the first time I've seen 2, but I haven't been around the game as long as you, Dan.
Mark Boyle to break again with no penalty. Time running.
Again. Yeah, and as you'd expect, a successful break, but a very messy table. Much more difficult than that would have been presented in the earlier 2 had the black ball not found a pocket.
Certainly
Plenty of
that
problem areas.
First one. Certainly that first one was a
10
glorious
seconds.
chance.
Extension, please.
But this one is very, very difficult. He can gain a lot of control here over the frame. I'm not convinced Mark Boyle, the way things have gone in recent frames, will necessarily go for this finish. Well, I say that, but if Mark feels he can get to that red next to the black at the top right, he may see an opportunity. I can't quite work out what he's going to do with that area, Jim. If he takes that red, he's got to be so careful with what happens to those yellows and the black. And the deeper he gets into the finish before he takes that red on, the less options he's going to have if something does go awry.
No, he's got to take it now. He's got to take it now while he's still got a couple more reds available. So leaving it to chance a little bit here.
Oh, where's the black?
Foul.
Oh, Mark Boyle. That is a devastating piece of luck. Oh, I can't believe what I'm seeing here.
Well, I said he was leaving it to chance. I don't think he could have foreseen that on his worst day. All of a sudden, it's 9-6. And it's Gareth Hibbott on the hill. And to break.
Well, Gareth Hibbott only needed one visit in the previous 4 frames. He didn't need a visit at all in that one. And now, as you say, just one away. It's not looking good for the Scotsman.
We've heard it so many times. It can be such a cruel game, and it does tend to kick you in the teeth when you're down.
Frame 16. Gareth Hibbott to break, leading 9 frames to 6. Time running.
So with a chance to put pay to all his efforts in this event, and a ball down on the break.
Oh,
and
not
look
just one.
at the colors. What a gilt-edged opportunity this is for Gareth Hibbott right now.
Well, you said earlier on in the match, Jim, when it wasn't going quite so well for Gareth, that this wasn't the final of his dreams. But I tell you what, that split to win this tournament, that is the split of his dreams. This is a wonderful chance. This is a chance that he wouldn't miss in a month of Sundays if it weren't for the pressure on it. This is just about Gareth holding his nerve now.
Well, that's the very reason he's taken so long over his choice right now. And is Mark Boyle going to get back to the table in this final? I'm not sure he thinks so.
There's a lot on this next positional shot from Gareth Hibbott, I think. I'm not convinced he's on any of those 3 yellows in the bottom half of the table. He just needs this one to come out well. He doesn't want it to finish up where it was before. Is he just about okay? He may have to take a plant. A little look to the heavens suggests to me that that is not ideal for Gareth Hibbott.
10 seconds.
And he is looking at the plant.
Oh, a chance, half a chance at best for Mark Boyle to stay in the final. And Gareth, he's just had one bite at the cherry. He has to feel he's going to get another.
10 seconds.
I'm not convinced, if I'm honest, Jim. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Mark Boyle took these reds out. He can play this one down the rail as a plant. He wants to kick that red back out into open play. The one red that you're looking at as the trickiest, well, if he can get right behind that, it's a decent skill shot. It's also available to the opposite corner. This is a better chance than I think it looks. I don't think Mark has enough of an angle to get across for that last red. He doesn't, but he's straight enough on it. He's going to have to take on the skill shot. He's going to have to follow this through. He's very close to the red with the cue ball, and that makes this difficult.
Great shot from Boyle there. Just steady himself, stave off elimination, and knock this black in. Dead center. Mark Boyle finally pulls one back. Still 9-7 in favor of Gareth Hibbott. But Boyle with the break in the next.
The absolute bottle of the man to take out that clearance. From where he was, and that skill shot as well, we've just seen again. From where Mark Boyle came to the table, that was such a difficult clearance. Any miss, he was out of the tournament. Could that be a momentum swing? It's going to depend on the next Boyle break for me, but that was just guts, pure guts.
And Gareth knows the position of the colors when he came to the table there, both reds and yellows following that break. Ideal.
17.
So that's one opportunity, one glimpse.
So then 9 frames to 7. Time running.
At the title. He's hoping for another. And a useful split to get Mark off the mark. In frame number 17 as well.
10 seconds. Extension, please.
Yeah, I think useful is probably the right word, Jim. It's not perfect. It's certainly not as good as the chances Gareth had to win the match in the previous frame. There is work to do here for Mark Boyle. He's taking a long, hard look at that yellow in the top right corner of the table. If that goes, still a good chance.
And if he's dropped on that yellow to the top left, and early indications tell me he has, that's a great positional shot by Mark. Because that was always going to be the tricky one to land on, and now every chance to get to 9-8. Well, this final is living up to all the hype. We were hoping for a closely contested battle, and it is not disappointing. And 9-8.
Frame.
As we head down the finish line, Mark Boyle trailing by just a one frame now, and Hibbott requiring that elusive last frame for the title.
I think whoever wins this match now, I'm really glad that Mark Boyle didn't come out after the interval and not win a frame. I think a close match is what this tournament has deserved, and it looks like that's what it's going to get. Gareth now with his last chance at a break in this match. He'll be hoping it's a good one, but the way things have gone, I just get the feeling this might come out dry.
Well, you just wonder if there's going to be another chapter to be written in this final too. I mean, it really has been a tale of twists and turns.
Frame 18.
You know, momentum shifts.
Gareth Hibbott to break, leading 9 frames to 8.
And what he wouldn't do for another break like his last. 9-8. There's the chance. The opportunity once again for Gareth Hibbott.
Yeah, although Gareth's got more balls still left on the table from this break,
Extension, please.
I would argue that this is actually a much better chance than his previous one, and that was still a pretty good chance in itself. There's a really natural pattern here on these yellows, or in fact on these reds. Again, second chance for Gareth just to hold his nerve.
Such is the strength of having a powerful break. You know, this one could well and truly be out of Mark Boyle's hands right now. Because nothing short of a mistake is going to get him out of his chair. And you have to fear the worst for Mark right now because that looks ideal. Gareth just settling his nerve, and Mark can see the writing on the wall.
Does he just have perhaps a hair too much angle on this yellow on the balk line? He'd love to be a bit straighter on that. It would make it easier to hold for the yellow to the top left. He is digging at this a little bit, is Gareth. Just got to be careful with the cue ball after this shot.
Yeah, just swing it off 2 cushions and should be home and dry, in fairness, Dan. For the win. He's slightly underhit it. He's hampered over the red, but all he's got to do is roll this black into the side pocket, and the celebration can start.
A word for our referee, Brian Moss, while he cleans the cue ball as well. He's done an excellent job this afternoon.
Yes, here, here.
Time running.
Just one more steady delivery of the cue.
Come on!
And the 8 is down, and Gareth Hibbott is crowned your 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup winner. A tremendous finish by the 51-year-old from Southport. In the end, 10-8 over Mark Boyle, and hats off to Mark Boyle. He didn't quit either, but what a performance. He trailed 5-1 at one point, 6-3 at the mid-session interval. He held himself together and ran out a 10-8 winner over Mark Boyle. Hats off and celebrations to the man from Southport, Gareth Hibbott.
Well, it's been a wonderful final. It's been a wonderful tournament. We're looking now at some highlights from this match by the winner, Gareth Hibbott. He is your 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup champion. And I have to say, on the balance of the whole tournament, I can't think of anyone more deserving. This has been just a brilliant tournament throughout, Jim.
Yes, and you know something? He found his break when he needed it most. He found his form and held his nerve. And I'll tell you something, a very deserving champion.
Mark, I'm sure you're disappointed with the outcome of that final, but how proud of you to be part of a great tournament and a great final?
Well, I can't complain, to be honest. It's the whole setup, this whole event in general has been amazing. It's a breath of fresh air for the pool, and every pool player I've spoke to that's played in it has really enjoyed themselves. So for me to get to the final and struggle my way through to the final, it's just a privilege to play in an event like this, to be honest.
And a little word about your opponent, Gareth Hibbott.
Gareth, you've got to scrape him off the table. He's that good, you know. Even his B game's a lot better than a lot of players' A game. But and off the table he's just a gent as well. So if you're going to lose to somebody, don't mind losing to Gareth.
And off the table, is there anybody you want to say hello to at home and the support that you've had?
Just everybody in Scotland that's got my back. The support's been unreal. It's overwhelming at times, especially everything that me and my wife's going through. So everything I do is for my wife, you know. I just gutted couldn't do it for her, but I showed a wee bit of fight there at the end, so hopefully that pulled through.
You've been a terrific competitor, but now we're going to hand over to Kelly, who's with our winner.
Now, congratulations. I'm going to say it now. Congratulations, you are the winner of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. How are you feeling?
Thanks, Kelly. Amazing, really. I just couldn't believe I got in the match. I was sat down watching like the rest of you for most of it in the first half, and things just turned my way. I just had a lot of breaks where the last ball went in, and it just game of two halves, really, and I can't believe how it turned around.
How did you find that final clearance? How were your nerves?
Yeah, it was all right. It was similar again. The last one went in, and Mark must have thought, oh no, but it was such a 50-50 between reds and yellows, and that got me panicking. I'm like, if I miss, I've gone for the wrong balls, and just left it a little awkward, like you always do. Even 2 games before to get over the line, it always comes that little bit awkward just to finish it, and just about got away with it.
And all those weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, did you think you would be just about to lift up that amazing trophy?
Not really, no. I know I'd been playing well in practice and stuff, but there's so many great players. You just need a bit of luck on the day and take your chances. And I've had. This is probably my 5th close game, I think, that could have easily gone either way. So you just got to get that bit of luck and a good break when you need it.
And obviously you are now £10,000 richer as well. How does that feel?
That's going to be nice, I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that going in the bank.
And is there anything you'd like to say about Mark today?
Yeah,
as well?
he's been awesome the whole tournament, really. Just class player, class act on and off the table, and pride of Scotland, I suppose. Just good luck to him and his family and his wife and the journey they got ahead.
And how have you found this whole tournament so far?
Oh, beautiful. It's been the best thing I've been to, I think, English pool, any pool-wise, really, yeah. It's been fantastic. Great setup. Now,
I'm going to stop talking to you because there's one thing you need to do right now. There's a trophy, and it's going to have your name on it. So please, if you want to lift it up, the winner of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup, Gareth Hibbott. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations. Over there. Now, Kevin, got to ask you a few questions now. As the organiser of this whole thing, how have you found this? How did you find that final?
Well, what a final that was. You know, as a fan of pool, like everybody who's been watching, that match had everything and just sums up everything what is great about Black Ball pool. You know, and these two great players in the final, they have put on an absolute treat of a final. And what a battle! It had swings and the momentum shifts within that final were incredible. You know, the clearances that they were playing, it was phenomenal. It really is. And Mark, fantastic player, great loser, great sportsman, and Gareth, worthy winner in the end. What a comeback!
And we've had 64 amazing players, haven't we? An amazing 7 weeks. How have you found the whole thing?
Well, it's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, from day one when, you know, the defending champ was knocked out by the Riot, it's just pretty much continued since that first day. And we've seen it every week, every day that the event's been on. Thrills, spills, drama, inexplicable misses, even Pickers potted a few balls as well. You know, it's had absolutely everything, and capped off by a final of all finals.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And so many people I'm sure you've got to thank for this whole event.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic team event, team production, and you know, first of all, thanks for Sporty Stuff TV for giving us the platform, you know, to showcase these absolutely fantastic gladiators on the table. So first of all, thanks to them. Obviously, all the partners, you know, the production crew here, you know, all the people behind the scenes, the social media, yourself and Pickers in front of the camera, the referees, officials who've done a fantastic job. We've hardly known that they've been there. But finally, just want to thank the players. You know, they've been like caged animals. They've not been able to play competitively for 15, 16 months, and they have put on an absolute treat for us over the past 7 weeks, culminating in that, you know, what can only be described as a fantastic final.
It's been absolutely amazing. And thank you for joining us as well for the past 7 weeks. It's been wonderful, and we hope that you join us next time as well. But for now, let me leave you with the winner of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. It's Gareth Hibbott.